Hey guys, the newest episode of Amphibia just came out, and I want to discuss this. The two new segments are The Root of Evil and The Corn the King. And when I watched the round table video on the titles of these new episodes, he thought that they were big backstory episodes. Well, I was proven wrong because only one of them is that. One episode is your typical episodic episode, just with a little callback. But good freaking goodness, The Corn the King is actually the first time that made me second guess myself in what the episode is going to be about. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. We'll get to that later, but for now, let's talk about the first episode of this new segment of the first segment of this new episode, The Root of Evil. This is an episode about Hop Hop and how he feels sad that his agricultural skills aren't being utilized in the resistance. Until one day, they all get knocked out, and then they eventually come across this, farm town. Hop Hop is very happy until they realize that this place is more suspicious than they thought when the people there are being controlled by this weird looking bug with the mushroom on its head. And yes, they are being controlled by the same mushroom that was in the episode where Hop Hop tries to make and Sprig and Polly obey him, but basically just they turn into zombies with mushrooms growing out of their heads. This was briefly touched upon in what episode? Oh yeah, Commander Ann. But now it's coming back full circle and it's being utilized here. And that's kind of neat because it is an apocalyptic show now. So I mean, yeah, it is kind of unique that they are actually utilizing this. Plus, there's a really funny part near the end where they try to abandon the farm community, which is being attacked by by Andrew's robots after a tracker device was put in the back of Hop Hop's van. Then Anna's like, "No, I don't want to help them," but then Hop Hop is like, "Yeah, I want to do," and then I go, "Fine," and then they do, and then they basically offer to join the resistance, and big shock, they do. Yeah, there's not really that much to talk about. I'm just so eager to get to The Corn the King. Now, this episode is kind of a sad one for me because it's one of the biggest shockers of Season 3B and also the most underwhelming episode of Season 3B so far. Hopefully, All In and The Hardest Thing are much better episodes and much, much more sad. Because I was expecting big things to be happening with this episode, but that doesn't mean there's nothing to talk about. This video is already pretty short and I want to make it longer. But again, the space is running out of my phone and I don't want it to die, so. Anyway, this episode introduces us to Darcy, which that's actually the name that was given to the character, which is Dark Marcy. This was heavily touched upon and theorized back in Season 3A, and I'm so glad that theories finally come to tuition. So Darcy, my bad, is basically, it has Marcy's body, but her actual soul is contained in, well, just let it speak for itself.
So, is Marcy in there, or?
No. This is her body, but we got her locked in a little room up here. We're the ones in control, although we've inherited some of her quirks.
Yeah, what they said. And then Andrews looks at a painting of his old friends that was clearly touched upon back in Season 2, I believe, in the episode to the sleepover to end those sleepovers, which I actually do not even like that episode, but it does have this in it, so that makes it better than any other terrible episode of the show, because this show has its fair share of stinky diaper poo-poo episodes. And then we begin the backstory section of the episode, where he basically meets his old friend, this guy, Beryl, who was voiced by the same guy who voiced Dipper in Gravity Falls. I would play the voice, but I'm in a very big rush, so I can't really play it. So just imagine Dipper's voice just a little bit deeper and a little bit more manly. There you go. Along with young Andreas and Beryl, there's also Leaf, who, yeah, she'll be important later in our discussion. But yeah, she's one of the major characters in this flashbacky episode. And she does the dance that Sprague taught to Anne in the hunting episode is in season 2. I forgot the name of it, I'm not bothered to look it up. So this gives the theory that Leaf, even though it's a 1,000-year difference, could possibly be related to Sprig. I don't know if that's true, but might be, but I don't know. I'm not really getting that much of a connection since it's a 1,000-year gap. But I mean, eh. And then when the three of them are playing around, we see King Andrews' dad, who says the line that we've all been waiting for. That's all been building up to this. The line from the end of the season 3A trailer, and it's this.
Don't you think it's time to say goodbye to those childhood friends of yours, son?
What? Seriously, it? I was expecting this.
Don't you think it's time to say goodbye to those childhood friends of yours?
I think that's the most underwhelming thing about this episode so far. But don't worry, because we're not over, because due to the overwhelming length of this video, I unfortunately have to split this into 2 parts. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, but I have things to do and I don't want to split into the next day. So on Tuesday, you're going to see a second part to this. But just so you know, I'm leaving it off here. If I have one more thing to talk about in this episode, robots. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, so that's all you're getting. I will make a thumbnail soon. I'm just... yeah, I'm not really bothered to do that much. I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm bored, I just want to go to bed. So, yeah, this is all you're getting. You'll see a part 2 to this on Tuesday. So just remember that. But for now, goodbye.